Imagine standing before a crowd, your heart racing, adrenaline flowing through your veins as you prepare to speak the truth. Now picture that the truth you're about to speak could change the course of your nation, could empower millions, and could ignite a revolution. What if, at that moment, you were not just fighting for your own freedom, but for the future of your people, your country, and your continent? This is the incredible moment that Captain Ibrahim Traoré found himself in, and the speech he delivered struck a chord that resonated far beyond his own nation of Burkina Faso. It was not just a speech, it was a declaration of independence, courage, and defiance. Traoré's words were a battle cry, one that reached every corner of Africa and the world. Today we dive deep into the powerful message that Ibrahim Traoré delivered to millions. The words in his speech will not just leave you inspired, they will make you feel fearless, ready to conquer anything standing in your way. If you've ever been held back by fear, doubt, or uncertainty, this message is for you. Part 1. The Call to Courage. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's words have the power to ignite a fire within the hearts of those who hear them. "We are writing history, and there is no room for cowardice," he declared during International Youth Day in 2024. These words were not just a call to action, they were a fierce command to the youth of Burkina Faso, and indeed to all Africans, to stand tall and confront the challenges of the present head-on. Traoré knew that history has often been shaped by the courageous, those who stood up when others cowered. In his speech, he acknowledged the struggles and setbacks that have plagued Africa's past, but he also emphasized that the future is in the hands of those brave enough to seize it. His message was clear: the time for passivity, the time for fear, is over. He urged the youth to reject the mindset that has held them back for centuries, a mindset of fear, submission, and resignation. He told them that when they allow fear to control their actions, they make themselves vulnerable to betrayal and oppression. But when they stand firm, when they act with courage, they are capable of creating their own future. This was the kind of leadership that Traoré embodied: bold, uncompromising, and revolutionary. "Fear makes us slaves," he said, pointing out that the roots of oppression often begin with the fear that is instilled in people. Whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, or the fear of the unknown, fear often keeps us from realizing our full potential. Traoré's challenge was clear: step out of that fear, step into your power. Only then can you write your own history. Part 2. Embracing our heritage. In the midst of his powerful words, Traoré reminded the people of Burkina Faso and all of Africa of the strength and resilience that runs deep within their blood. A coward is always afraid, and fear makes us slaves. Our ancestors were never cowards. "We do not fear, and we will never fear," he proclaimed, addressing the people with a message that spoke directly to their hearts. For centuries, Africa has been victimized by colonization, slavery, and exploitation. But the strength that remains in the DNA of the African people is undeniable. Traoré made it clear that this strength is not just a matter of pride, it is the key to liberation. He urged his fellow Africans to look back at their history, to remember the warriors and leaders who fought bravely to protect their land, their culture, and their dignity. This wasn't just a call to remember the past, it was a call to embody the same courage, resilience, and fearlessness that Africa's ancestors demonstrated in the face of insurmountable odds. For Traoré, this was about more than just honoring the past. It was about using that heritage as a source of strength to confront the challenges of the present and future. By acknowledging the rich history of bravery and resilience in Africa, Traoré helped his people understand that they have an unbreakable foundation. When they stand firm and embrace their heritage, they are drawing on a well of strength that cannot be defeated. His message wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving, about becoming the masters of their own destiny. Part 3. Mental decolonization. Traoré's speech went beyond just physical courage and action. He knew that the true battle was in the mind. One of his most powerful statements was, "We have been led to believe we are poor, that we have nothing. But that is false. This is the mentality of colonization, and we need to decolonize our thinking." This statement is a profound acknowledgement of the mental chains that colonization has left on Africa. Colonialism did not just take away land and resources, it also took away the African people's belief in themselves. For generations, Africans have been taught to view themselves as inferior, incapable, and dependent. But Traoré rejected this narrative entirely. His call was for Africans to break free of the mental chains that have held them back for so long. To truly be free, he argued, one must first free their mind. That means rejecting the belief that Africa is poor, weak, or unable to stand on its own. It means shifting from a mindset of dependence to a mindset of independence and self-reliance. Traoré challenged the people of Africa to redefine their own worth, their own capabilities, and their future. The battle for freedom, he said, is as much about mental decolonization as it is about physical liberation. It's about changing the way we think about ourselves, about rejecting the narratives that have been imposed upon us, and about taking control of our own narrative. When we do that, we begin to unlock a power that has always been within us, waiting to be unleashed. If you're finding this message as empowering as we are, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Join our community of revolutionaries who refuse to be silenced. Together, we'll continue exploring the ideas, stories, and speeches that change the world. Part 4. Standing Against Imperialism. In one of his most historic speeches, Traoré condemned the continued imperialism and exploitation of Africa by foreign powers. A slave who cannot assume his own revolt does not deserve to be pitied, he declared at the Russia-Africa Summit. This powerful statement was a direct challenge to both African leaders and the imperialist forces that have kept Africa in chains for centuries. Traoré's words are a call for Africa to stand up and stop acting as pawns in the global power game. He called for Africa to reclaim its sovereignty, to break free from the influence of former colonial powers, and to unite as one. For him, true independence is not just about political control. It's about economic self-sufficiency, cultural revival, and the ability to determine one's own fate without interference from the outside world. His call to action was clear. Stop asking for permission to be free, stop waiting for external validation, and start taking the steps necessary to build an independent, self-sustaining Africa. Africa, according to Traoré, must stop being a victim of imperialism and start becoming the master of its own destiny. Part 5. A Vision for Africa. Traoré didn't just talk about the problems. He provided a clear and actionable vision for Africa's future. He spoke about the need for food self-sufficiency, regional integration, and the elimination of foreign interference in Africa's development. We need to ensure that our people can meet their own needs. We cannot continue to rely on outside powers to provide for us, he said, emphasizing the importance of sustainable growth and development. For Traoré, Africa's future lies in its own hands. The continent has the resources, the talent, and the willpower to become self-reliant and economically prosperous. But in order to achieve that, the people must first believe in their own power and potential. They must stop seeing themselves as victims and start acting as the architects of their own future. His vision was one of unity, cooperation, and self-reliance. He called on African leaders to work together, to break down the barriers that divide the continent, and to build a future where every African can thrive. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's speech was not just a call for action. It was a declaration of war against fear, oppression, and mental slavery. His message was simple but profound. Africa must stand up, reject cowardice, embrace its heritage, and take control of its own destiny. Only then can we achieve true freedom, prosperity, and peace. What are your thoughts on Traoré's message? Do you feel empowered to take action in your own life, community, and country? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and keep the fire of revolution burning. Thank you for watching. Remember, the journey to freedom begins with a single step, and together we can take that step towards a brighter, stronger future. Let's keep fighting, keep rising, and keep believing.